All right, we bought the chairs, and yes, you can fit 5 chairs in a Miata. So, if anyone was asking.
I'm cold.
I've done 2 interviews today. That's why I've got this on. I've got the thing on. But I'm not sure how well they went. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard because I'm doing like video interviews. They don't even want to talk to you anymore. They just have you record a video of yourself. So, the hell? But I did 3 of those, and then I made a new resume, and then yeah, basically I've done nothing fun today, just trying to get a freaking job.
Today's story, I'm going to tell you about my first car. So, my first car was a 2008 Chevy Impala. It was dark blue, and I bought it for $300 when I was, I think, freshly 19, probably like 18 and a half, 19. At the time, I didn't have a license. I was working at Circle K, and I bought it off of a coworker. Circle K is a gas station, by the way, so I was working at a gas station. I bought it off a coworker because it had many issues, but I didn't really care about any of them. Because I was like, honestly, I don't care. Does it run? Does it drive? I found out, he told me some of the issues it had, but I didn't care. I found out that some of the issues it had was it was rusty everywhere. It had 210,000 miles, and that was its second engine. So the body had 360,000 miles on it. The transmission was original, and I believe, and for an Impala, this is insane. I think the transmission had like 260,000 miles on it probably. But even when I bought the car, it would not go into third gear, or like it would be iffy. Like if you know older Chevy transmissions, especially on their V6s and their V8s, you know exactly what I mean. The 460E, the 480, they're not great transmissions. There was that. The heat didn't work. The AC didn't work. Had a busted headlight. The windshield was cracked. The radio didn't barely work. And every time you turn the car on, it would go. And it wasn't the engine, it was the blend door actuator. If you guys know Impalas, you know exactly what it is. Essentially, it's a little thing that moves whenever you change where the air comes out of for the AC control. Well, I got that car. I bought it for $300, and at the time I didn't have a license. I didn't really have anywhere to even store the car, but I bought it and I drove it for 2 years. I drove it to and from work. It broke down multiple times. When I was driving I think I was driving home from work one day. I went to hit the brakes and they just gave out completely. I snapped the brake line and all my fluid leaked out. Like it was something that if I knew anything about cars, I would have fixed way beforehand, but I had no idea. And my brakes were going bad for the longest. I was like, who knows, just hit them harder. Eventually there was no brakes and I was driving. So it happened when I was in a 4-lane road. So 2 on each side. There's the dividing line in the middle. I'm coming up to this intersection with the red light. So it's a 4-way. And it's 4 on each side, 4, 4, 4, 4. So there's a lot of cars. I'm coming up on them, and I'm flying. I don't have any brakes, man. I downshifted the first. It's an automatic, so like you can't just I put it in first gear. I dropped it to low, and I just hoped it went revved all the way to 7,000, and I was still going like 30 miles an hour. And you think, oh, that's not that fast. When you're in a 3,000-pound vehicle with no brakes, it's pretty fast. So I'm flying up towards these cars. My engine's screaming, I'm in first gear, and I'm not slowing down. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to hit this car. So I fling it to the right, and I jump over this curb. I go over this lot, go over the sidewalk, jump like 3 separate curbs, and then like one of those little parking barriers. And I go through the red light, basically. I take a right on red, even though I didn't have space. I basically just drove over the median. And then I was going, and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because, like, I was in the middle of like a very small town, so it's not like you can kind of just put it in neutral and wait till you stop. Because it's like where I lived, it was a town called Bowling Green, Ohio, right? So there isn't very many hills. It is a completely flat area. It is flat, and then there's ditches and whatnot. It's that flat. It's called Bowling Green, bowling alley and golfing green. It is that flat. But I start rolling, and I don't know, what do I do? And I think of somewhere. I think of my friend's house because he's got a little like incline going up into his apartment complex, and it's a man-made incline. There's no natural hills anywhere in the area. So I think of it, and it's like 3 blocks away. So I start going, I take a left. Multiple times I'm going, I have my left turn signal on. You literally can't stop. So I have my left turn signal on, and there's a car coming, and either I have to just go past it, or the car has to go to where I can turn, because I cannot hit my brakes. There's no brakes. I hit the brakes all the way, no pressure, no anything, just suggestions. There's no slowing down. There's literally no slowing down. So I have to slowly go past a couple of them because I couldn't make my turn, but eventually I just whip it enough times. I run 2 stop signs. Luckily, they were 4-way stop signs, so I wasn't completely risking my life. I ran 2 stop signs, two red lights, and then I finally get to this area where it has a thing. And like I said, none of these points could I just slowly roll to a stop. If I were to just keep rolling and not turning left, right, I would slowly roll out in front of a car and get hit. So I drove myself to this hill, and I found it at his house. I drove up, got to the top. Right as we started rolling backwards, grabbed it, threw it in the park. The whole car was like, and it sat there, and it just stayed there, dude. Smoke was coming out from everywhere, and I was like, I just turned the vehicle off, and it sat there for like a year. It sat there, and then I fixed the brake lines, and I fixed one rotor and one pad. I was that poor at the time. I didn't do a whole brake job. I fixed one rotor, one pad, and the brake lines, and then I filled up the brake reservoir, like the fluid or whatever. I drove it like that for another year, and then I got to a point where all four tires were having a slow leak, so I'd have to go to work, fill all four tires up before work and after work. That's how bad it was. They were all on steelies. There was rust everywhere. I haven't gotten an oil change in like 10,000 miles, man. I was just abusing this car. And it still ran. It still drove. It still had first and second gear. I used to take this car up to like street races, and I stripped out the entirety of the interior in it, just the driver's seat. Took out the trunk too, and I would just put it in second gear up in Toledo, and I would drop it down to first, and I would just race people. Then it'd be in second gear, and I'd top second gear all the way to red line, and then I just let off. And I'd do that until the car would overheat. It was literally like boiling coolant. And so that car ended up breaking again. Something small. I think it was well, I think I was just tired of all the tires being messed up, and it didn't have AC, and the car just basically barely drove. I also had a bad battery at the time and a bad alternator, so I ended up putting it on Facebook Marketplace. I sold it for $600. So if you remember, I bought it for $300, drove it as my only car for 2 years, and sold it for $600. That's the story of my 2008 Chevy Impala. All right, guys, question of the day. If you had a choice between a Lamborghini that you could only drive 10 times a year, or a Honda that has no heat, no AC, no windshield wipers, no radio, but you can drive it any day of the year, what are you guys picking, huh? What are you guys picking? I'll tell you, I'm gonna give you like a, like a 5-second head start, and then I'll tell you what I would choose myself and why I would choose it. Yeah, let's go. All right, I myself would probably I would definitely choose the Honda Civic. Even if I had to choose between like a nice BMW or a Honda Civic, I'm the type of person that would much rather have something reliable. But I have owned a Toyota Prius, and I will say that something reliable but also very, very, very boring is not worth it. And a little bit of fun while also being reliable is right where I'm at, right in the middle. Because honestly, I feel like it's fun, and then there's reliability, and it's kind of like this. You know what I mean? Not everything is like that. Certainly not everything. Like, for example, a lot of Hondas, man. And Mazda. Mazda, reliable and fun. Maybe Honda's a little bit more reliable. Maybe there's some Hondas that are a little bit more fun. But that's where I'm sitting at. What about you guys? Let me know in the comments. All right, I think we're gonna go to maybe Five Below, see what they got there, see what fun stuff we can find.
It didn't feel very long.
I know, she like yelled at us. Anyways, we're at Five Below. What are we looking for again?
Anything. Just meandering.
I'm looking for gummy candy. Seriously. Alright, I think I'm gonna get these sour sodas. Never actually had them before, but... Not good? Alright, check out the outfit. Got the poncho on. Yeah. What?
Actually, I'm gonna get 5 of these chairs.
5? For class?
Yeah, because the chairs I have at my small group table suck ass. They don't fit at the table and they don't push in good, and these ones would just slide right out of the way. Unless do you think they'd be shitty?
I mean, I don't...
No!
didn't know it was gonna make a loud ass sound.
This one is two of this have fallen off.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to fit that in the Miata. Maybe though. All right, we bought the chairs, and yes, you can fit 5 chairs in a Miata. So, if anyone was asking.
I'm cold.
All right, we got the chairs in here. Not much longer left. Couple minute drive back home. I don't have anything interesting to say. Are you excited with what we got?
Yeah. Got some chairs.
Alright guys, we're about to go butt naked wild into some chicken wings at this Marion's Pizza. Just kidding. We're gonna get a pizza. What do you want? Do you want the usual? Thin crust, pepperoni, square cut?
They have no option of crust. They just have sizes of their pizza.
What size did we get last time?
I don't know. There's like 4 different like sizes, and it just like says the inches of it. I don't remember. I want to get a big pizza so that we have leftovers to take home.
So the biggest or?
Low key. And I want a drink. I'm thirsty. Hey, bub. Hey, bub.
So now for the photo. Yeah, it's a video. There's Marion's Pizza, man. Stuff was amazing. Whoa, Volvo.
What the hell?
Whoa, Volvo. What car is that, babe?
The CA.
Oh, you got it.
Oh my god. That Honda.
Almost hit you.
was gonna hit me. I like it when there's 2 lanes like this. People turn into the right lane, like when you're the left lane, they do it when you're right lane. Wait till it's completely clear.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Just like that, we're at the end of the day and the end of the video. But that does not mean that has to be the end for you. Check yesterday's video and come back for tomorrow's video. Have a good one.